around and let's focus on some StarCraft.
All right, Kev, we are live and in-game right now. This game was played earlier this morning. This is, of course, a replay cast, but Rhett Masa, I think, was played at about 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so very fresh. Masa has been playing a very macro brand of Terran, and I hope that we see some of that because Rhett is a fantastic macro Zerg.
But also with a lot of aggression. We did go over it already, Ben, or at least you gave your prediction. I thought it was going to be a very close call as well, and this is kind of a tough game for me always to call a winner because, of course, I am teammates with Masa, but Rhett is a really long time friend of me. I met him for the first time at the World Cyber Games 2008 in Germany, and back then I thought, who's this weirdo playing this other RTS? Like, what to think of him? Then I had some talks with him. I was like, actually, he seemed like a kind of cool guy, but I still didn't really know him. We spoke a little bit, but that's it. But of course, ever since StarCraft 2 came around, we met early on in the beta. Actually, I played Red in the tournament, in the very, very first StarCraft 2 tournament ever hosted in the Netherlands, man. Was in the beta stages of Wings of Liberty. I went to the winner bracket final, where I run into Red, and then Red beat me 3-0 with lots of Hydralisk. Because back then all I made was Blink Stalkers, like that's the only unit I made. I was so ahead of the meta game, by the way. Back then everybody said they were bad, but I kept using them. But then I kept dying to Hydralisk. And then I said, like, man, these Hydralisks, you just can't kill them. And then Red said, like, yeah, you should make Colossus. I was like, it's impossible. You can never get up to Colossus, man. Like, you don't have enough time for that. Obviously, I was not very good in the game back then.
Beat you with Hydras, and later he would beat you with the Drog.
Yes. And Red beat me with many things. But ever since then, Red has been a really good friend of me, so it was hard to pick a winner of this series, but I do think in the end, man, that the experience for Red should be too much to handle. And can you imagine an NASL without Red, man? I can't.
I can't imagine many tournaments without Red. He is one of the most active tournament players in the scene, one of the most accomplished tournament players in the scene, and a really beloved member of Team Liquid. Now, Masa, a young player. He's, what, 15 years old?
Among those lines, yeah. I don't know exactly, but he's very young.
And a relatively new name to the scene, and I do know that when he was picked up by Team Root, a lot of people are like, what? Who? Why? And since then, he's shown some fantastic games in the North American Star League. He's been a consistent performer for Root in the clan leagues.
Yep, definitely. Certainly in the team leagues, he's been performing really, really well. Everybody remembers that 2-0 victory over Torzane. That was quite the scene shocker. Taking a look at the openings, man, we see everything is quite standard so far. Red is getting pretty damn quick gas, though. Quicker than he normally gets it. 2 queens on the way, of course, he went hedge first. Well, we see a refinery opening over here for Masa, who did open up with the command center first, and Ben, look at that roach warren.
Whoa, yes. When you get that early gas, you have a couple of options, and the one that is most common is, in fact, this roach play. We're probably going to see Rhett making...
Oh, he cancels.
Oh. Saw the SCV scout coming and decided that he did not want to commit to anything. Now, Masa did see the canceled thing there.
All that blood. Where did all that blood came from?
And he was thinking, all right, Rhett, well, you were going to do something, then you changed your mind. But then Rhett, of course, immediately just plants the roach warren again.
Unless, Ben, it was that time of the month for the queen.
Wow. Wow.
But fortunately, that was not the case.
Masa right now getting that fast third command center. Now, this is a little bit dangerous for Masa. He's just now starting a bunker. Rhett's roach warren not complete yet, so Masa will have plenty of time to complete this bunker.
This triple orbital makes it really dicey, Ben, but also basically tells us, okay, if Red is going to make a lot of roaches and he does not straight up win the game, he does pick up a mule there, by the way. Nice pickup over here. 10 roaches in production. That's a crazy amount of roaches. And normally I really like the positioning of this bunker, Ben. I think in this case it might actually be quite exposed against roaches.
I think in this case it would be better off on the high ground. Masa, of course, has no way to know that here. One saving grace, he is getting a tech lab on that barracks. He will be able to produce Marauders, and he's already making one. Either sick game senses or just he has these Marauders built into his build as a sort of precaution.
I mean, as you said, man, he saw that something was cancelled over there, and it's very unlikely Red would have made a double spawning pool. So he could have figured out there might have been some roaches on the way for Red. He's going to spot it here. He's going to get the confirmation that there are roaches on the way. But as you said, man, that one Marauder is here. He's definitely going to pull SCVs in time. I wouldn't build another bunker over here. This is very, I mean, a depot. This is very smart.
Masa's going to go swap out the barracks and try to get a Banshee out. So
he only has 1 Marauder, which is a little bit risky. Imagine if that Marauder falls, Ben.
And there's only 4 SCVs on the low ground. They're going to die very quickly to these 10 roaches now, Rhett. He still has to execute this perfectly. It's going to be a long time before the Banshee's out, so he does have an opportunity to do some serious damage. He's going to walk right up to the bunker, and he's not going to... Oh, he is going to focus down some SCVs. He'll kill all of these SCVs first. After they fall, that bunker, of course, will go down very, very quickly. He's lost Only a single roach so far, so the Marine, the Marauder, absolutely going to fall. But how much damage can Rhett do up at the top of that ramp?
20 seconds, man, then the Banshee is out. Rhett, you don't want to stay.
The Overlord's giving vision. He doesn't have to walk up the ramp. He can shoot from the low ground. That's awesome.
It is, but still that Banshee is pretty much out on Ben. And yes, he killed quite a few SCVs. He didn't kill all that many. I actually think he lost quite a few drones in the process. Wow, he lost 12 drones on the other side of the map, Ben.
Oh dear, now he will break down this depot. He will get up into the main base.
But the Banshee
is eventually going to clean everything up. Red's going to try to run past, but that's not going to work either. Masa with a great defense. He's going to throw down another supply depot, completing the wall yet again. And Rhett is chased away.
Rhett in so much trouble right now, Ben. Masa killed 12 drones with just those 2 Hellions, or maybe it was 4 Hellions. While Rhett on the other only killed 9 SCVs. He's playing against triple orbital. And of course he has a horrible tech right now. Wow.
Look at this ridiculous transition that Rhett's trying to pull off. He's gone up to 2-base mutalisk, which can be really good against the build that Masa has done. Fast 3 command center into Banshee.
4.
But given that he invested in all of those roaches early on, he's not going to have as much gas, and it's going to be quite hard for him to find openings. Now Masa is unaware of the Spire tech.
Masa making so many command centers, that's crazy. That kind of says as well that the moment he knows that mutalisk are on the way and that this Banshee Ben should be able to, well, it's going to be hard with these queens over here in position, so I guess he won't be able to spot it as the Spire is pretty well hidden. But still, the moment he sees it, he can throw up so many missile turrets because he's going to have a ridiculous mineral income.
Yeah, Rhett's not going to be able to make that many mutas, Kev. Spire is about 15 seconds from completion. He'll maybe be able to make 6, 7 mutas tops. The question is then going to become, what is he going to achieve with those mutalisks? There's no tech lab on a factory, so we're not going to see any Thors. It's going to be just Marines defending, Kevin, and they do not have any add-ons. There are no turrets down. There is a very real possibility that Rhett will do some heavy damage with the mutas.
He is definitely going to deal some damage, but I don't think it's going to be all that much, Ben. Even though we only have 2 Marines on the map right now, basically, and we're going to have a Viking soon as well, he can throw up so many turrets. He should be able to spot them real soon, as we have quite a few Hellions right now driving over. How many units does Rhett has on the ground, Ben? He only has 10 Zerglings and 3 Queens.
Mutas are going to have to be used defensively, and that is the best case scenario for Masa because now he can react with a ton of turrets. Rhett, if you're going to do anything with those mutas, you have got to go right now. Of course, Banshee's once more in the main base. Oh, man, and Masa is doing a great job buying time for himself.
Yeah, he's buying so much time. The Hellions are going to run into the natural, but good block over here by Rhett. Picks up most of these Hellions immediately. So this time he won't end up losing too many drones. But yeah, there should be an answer for these mutalisks by now.
Turrets are finishing, and Rhett is on the clock. Can he stop this one turret? No, he cannot. And Masa will effectively deflect these initial mutas. That is great for Masa. Fantastic play.
Masa is down 9 workers, but he's on 4 orbital commands, guys. We're not exaggerating. He's on 4 orbitals. He's only mining from 2 bases for now. He tried to go up to 3 bases, but Red is here with quite a few links. So Red is doing a good job at slowing Masa down at least a little bit.
He'll be able to pressure this command center. I do not think he's going to be able to kill it, though. There's, I think, enough Marines, and certainly when you consider the Viking.
There are 10 Marines, but none of them have stim, man.
Uh-oh, but there are Lings here as well, and I don't think Masa has siege mode, so these Zerglings are going to complicate things in the natural pretty substantially.
Marines are actually on move command rather than attack move. Now they start shooting at stuff, and Masa should be fine.
You're not controlling this very well, running the mutas over the head of those Marines and taking a lot of damage. Now, one thing Rhett has achieved is he's gotten a lot of map control out of this, and that has let him drone up pretty freely. He's at 61 drones against 56 SCVs. Rhett's lost 20 workers too, so I mean he would feasibly have been at 80 drones at this point in the game.
He's going to go up to 72 drones, and that's reasonable enough. That's an amount of Rhett which Rhett can work with. He's also upgrading of double evolution chamber, so that's something for the long run. He does not have a baneling nest though, and that's something that obviously he's going to have to think of. We see a Tor, by the way, been in production pretty early on for Masa. Perhaps thinking that Rhett is going old school and he's going for that insane amount of mutalisk. Look at this tank. This tank is really confused, man. He's like, ugh.
Yeah, Thor will be popping out, and it will serve as a deterrent from additional mutaplay. Rhett is also upgrading his Zerglings. He's getting that baneling nest. There's no infestation pit on the map yet, Kevin. So I guess he's.
Why can't he just go here? That makes no sense to me.
Because I have no idea. Maybe the barracks is kind of walling it off from the massive Thor unit.
Masa once more is going up to 3 bases. We do see the Baneling nest morphing in right now, and the infestation pit is on the way. So eventually Red might be able to have an army to fight his army straight up. He's going up for a 4th and 5th base as well, really hoping that Masa is going to lean back for a little while. Of course, Red saw the amount of orbital commands that were there as well, and perhaps hoping that this slowed down Masa quite a bit, that Masa is thinking too much into mid-late game economy, and he's not going to be able to punish Red for being greedy right now.
Red's Muta is going to show up in the main base of Masa once more. That Thor is out. He's got great range, and he should be able to chase these Mutas out of here.
Gonna pick off a medevac at least. One. Oh, these Mutas are quite strapped right now though. Red losing so many mutalisk over here. One Marine stealing in.
Really painful loss for Red. He's going to be chased all the way over here to the back of this 3rd base, but he will not be able to harass at that expansion. He had 11 mutas when he started that. Only 7 remain, and 2 of them are at virtually 0 hit points.
During all this, he did go up to 4 bases though. Red, out of nothing, Ben, went up to 87 drones. He's going up to Hive now as well. It's crazy how Red just has a feeling that he can get away with this. So far, he is right. But Ben, I think by the time the 2-2 is about to finish up, Masa should have a seasonable army. He has 48 Marines. I'd say it's time to get those 48 Marines to work, Ben.
Oh, yes, sir. It is going to be a little bit of a 2-2 timing here. Those bio upgrades lining up with +1 weapons on that siege tank. And Masa is on the move. A lot of Marines, a couple of siege tanks, and a few medevacs in the mix. Rhett sees this coming, and he has got to get ready. Baneling speed just now starting, though, Kevin, so he's going to be lacking a lot in the way of mobility.
He has a lot of money, but he doesn't have all that much larva. He's morphing 31 Banelings right now. That might actually be enough to deal with this little push from Masa. And if Red survives one time, then I think he has what it takes to survive for a much longer time. We're going to see a couple of Marines in the main base as well for Masa. That's a nice move. Red, where are your Banelings? They're all over here, Ben. Wiggle, wiggle.
But they're so slow, Kevin. And Masa's already spreading out his units. This is going to be a very difficult defense for Red, but he's going to go for it right now. Here come the Mutas. They're going to try and target down the siege tanks and the mech. Zerglings and Banelings coming in as well. This is initially looking okay for Red.
But those tanks are still completely untouched. And now all these Banelings are over here on the high ground. This didn't go all that well for Red, I think.
And just enough Marines left over that Masa's able to continue this push. What?
Oh, Banelings!
Excellent execution by Masa, and Red has his back against the wall right now. 7 Infestors in production, but how much damage will Masa be able to do before they pop out?
And look at the minimap, and it's like a river of Marines streaming down. It's a never-ending string of Red on the minimap, and Red is having such a hard time right now keeping his units together. They're spawning out of 5-6 hatcheries all around the map. These Marines will go to town on the natural, and I think Red is in so much trouble.
Yeah, Zerglings will stream in and maybe be able to clean up the remainder of these Marines, but Masa, as you said, is reinforcing constantly, and with good positioning on those Marines, is actually going to kill all of Rhett's Zerglings, and Rhett left with no choice but to tap out GG. As Masa continues to play very well here in the North American Star League, goes up 1-0 over Rhett. This is exciting for me. A North American Terran showing up, being relevant, showing good games against Korean, and then taking the first map off of Rhett, widely considered to be one of the best Zergs in Europe. Really, really nice play there from Masa.
A solid play, Ben. He scouted the Roach Warren early on. Even though he didn't see the Roach Warren, he could have seen that the building got cancelled. And I'm sure that a good player as Masa is, he got all his buildings there as well. And I also like the call, not going for a second Marauder, but instead going for the Banshee.
Ultimately, was the right decision.
Yep. And it's a hard one to make on that moment, because there are situations where, yes, your Banshee might be able to clean it all up, but by then you lost so many SCVs, but that wasn't the case this time. So well played by Masa, just a really solid game.
Everything from that decision to make the Banshee to the way he sim-citied his buildings, keeping Red out of his base and taking minimal amounts of damage. He basically sacrificed 4 SCVs to keep that bunker alive just long enough for the Banshee to get out. That was so well executed. Guys, that game was brought to you by LABite.com. Premium restaurant food delivery service serving the Los Angeles and Orange County area. If you would like to pick up a meal from any of the 1,000 or so restaurants in the area, head over to LABite.com. Use the promotional code NASL and place an order today. We're going to have a short break. Lots more StarCraft coming up, guys. Don't go anywhere. NASL, back after this.